Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I am finally doing my best of 2025. These are the best movies that I saw in 2025. So, granted, I didn't see everything. If you see my list and you think, really, that movie or those movies made the list? What about this? What about that? I probably didn't see it. Or maybe I didn't like it as much as you did. So wait, we have to get to rank 15? Motherfuck piece of I only have 9 movies on my list, so let's start with number 9. The Black Phone 2. I know that might sound surprising to some people. They might be saying, really? That fucking movie? Because I know this is more of a mixed reaction for most people, but I really enjoyed Black Phone 2, and I think I liked how it took the first film, which admittedly was better, but it took what worked about the first movie and just kind of built upon it, just kind of expanded on the supernatural aspects of it, which I'm not always the biggest person on supernatural horror, but I really liked the way how they found a different way to bring back the Ethan Hawke character, the grabber. Like, he's a really creepy, especially this version of him. He's even darker, he's even more evil, more sinister. But not just that, yeah, you have the stuff of like young kids being kidnapped and killed, and that's all fucked up. But I really liked the dynamic between the brother and sister. I think those two characters are strong. Really liked that they brought them back. Really liked that it's the same actors. They didn't just say, hey, let's move on to other characters. Most sequels do that, or a lot of sequels do that. I'm glad they didn't do that here. I liked the environment of being in the wintertime, in the snow, at the cabin. A lot of things about this film worked for me. Number 8, Final Destination Bloodlines. I almost wanted to have this higher on the list because this movie probably deserves to be even higher on the list, just for the fact that it somehow brought the Final Destination franchise back to a point where I can feel proud to be a fan of the franchise once again. Early on, I loved this franchise. The first 3 films, I was like, fuck yeah, I'll ride or die for this. And then the 4th movie happened. And the 5th movie's fine, but it still wasn't in a place where I think it could have been, should have been. They took a long time off, but they came back with a story that surrounded this family specifically. They did something that I thought the franchise needed as far as bringing something new to it, something different, some flavor, but obviously keeping what we know and love about the franchise. I think the vision at the very beginning, at that, what was it, 1960s or whatever, restaurant, like that was all great and unique as well. And then you're following a whole family of characters who are being killed off one by one. All of the actors and characters were unique. Number 7, Fantastic Four, The First Steps. And I know maybe not everyone loved it as much as I did, but I loved this movie. I did. It felt nice and refreshing to see the MCU, Marvel in general, handle their first family with enough grace and enough quality in writing and the actors, the performance. I just think everything that needed to be right was right. I'm not saying that the movie was perfect. I'm not saying that if the 3rd act didn't work for you that I would argue it. I'm just saying I think the team was great, the team was believable, the team was likable. I really liked the fact that it took place in the 60s in a different universe. At first I thought I wouldn't like the different universe thing because it makes it so separate, but I think it worked to be able to not be confined with the baggage that is the MCU, and that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. I think the MCU as a whole, these movies being connected, does work and is a good thing, but not everybody does, or some people think that maybe it's too much that's going on right now, too much to keep up with. This movie was able to get away from that. And Galactus, I thought Galactus was like, fuck yes. Does it work that there's already another Fantastic Four movie that has Galactus and it sucked? So this one is, by connection, by comparison, better? Maybe, but I love the design of it. I love that they just went full comic book. And Silver Surfer, for people who were worried about them making the Silver Surfer a female and that, it's forced, or I thought the Silver Surfer was great, possibly one of the best things about this movie. It was handled great, written great, so much care put into that chase scene with the surfer going after them in the ship in space. Like, that was phenomenal. Number 6, Predator Badlands. Who would have thought that a Predator movie at this point would be in my top? I mean, I know Prey was really good, and I think the fact that they're using the same writer-director of Prey to sort of head up the Predator franchise, this guy is doing great things, and I think having the Predator be the main character, finally, I have been asking for this, begging for this for years at this point. So many Predator movies they would make and have these horrible human characters. It reminds me of one of the reasons why I don't care for Transformers, the movies, is that they always focus on these annoying humans. This film said, no, we're going to focus on the Predator. We're going to make them unique. We're going to make them stand out. We're going to have a hero's journey for that Predator character. But also, you do have a somewhat human element, even though it's more of a robot, with Elle Fanning. I thought she was phenomenal. I thought she was great in this film. And I can't wait to see the future, where we're going to go in the series. Number 5, I would love to have this movie higher. There's a big part of me that wants to have this movie higher. I'm talking about Companion. Companion, I saw early on in the year. Didn't really know what to expect from it. I'm not sure if I had heard what the twist was in this movie beforehand. I know the second or third trailer gives it away, and I don't know if I'm prepared to give away what the big twist of this movie is, just because, and a lot of people might say, who gives a fuck? It's been out for almost a year, or enough people have seen it maybe, but still, I want to leave some doubt just in case people didn't see it, and hopefully me putting it this high on the list will compel some people to want to check it out. But let me just say that it is unique, it's fresh, it's surprising, it's thrilling, and the story takes twists and turns to where you almost don't know which character to trust. I think Jack Quaid was great. Sophie Thatcher is quickly becoming one of my favorite actresses to watch. If I see that she's in the movie, I'm instantly more interested. Number 4, Superman. And I'm proud. I'm proud. After so many years of struggling with the DCEU, and I know that comment just pissed off a bunch of Snyderverse cultists or fans, and that's fine, that's all well and good, but the universe is dead, and so I was more than welcoming to see a new take, a new universe, a new Superman. I loved Henry Cavill, but David Corenswet did win me over with his performance, with his wholesomeness, with his just constant need to be good. He's a good person, a good-hearted person, and you're seeing him having to deal in a world that isn't always good. I think this is the way you handle Superman, a character like Superman, in modern times. I think they got that right. I think that was one of the most important things to get right. I think you have Lex Luthor, who it could go either way with how an actor plays Lex. We've had plenty of examples of horrible portrayals of Lex, but I think this one was handled very, very well. I thought the action was great. I thought a lot of the side characters, like the Justice Society, I thought they were all great. But Lois Lane is a breath of fresh air. The one scene with Clark Kent and Lois Lane having that argument might be my favorite scene in the movie, and it doesn't involve Superman directly. Like, it's not Superman doing actiony things or using his powers. It's not about that. It's like some deep character shit that was awesome to see in a big blockbuster budgeted movie like this. And obviously Crypto the Dog, yes, I'm here for it. Number 3, another superhero movie, Thunderbolts, which might surprise some people because it's not one of the biggest movies that were out there. It's not one of the heavy hitters as far as maybe name brand goes, at least not until after you see the movie. And if you've seen it, you know what I mean. But here's a film about a group of characters that for the most part you don't give a shit about. For the most part, you look at them and you go like, okay, these are side characters in previous Marvel movies that you haven't really thought about what they would be up to today. But that's what works about this group. That's what works about this ragtag group of characters that in some ways are criminals, in some ways are bad people, in some ways have done fucked up things to a lot of people. Can they be redeemed? That's kind of what this whole movie's about, is can they be redeemed? Can they do something to maybe right the wrongs that they have done? But more so, I've seen this movie a couple of times now, and I am astonished every time that when it gets to the end of the movie, when you're dealing with the character Bob specifically, even Yelena, Florence Pugh, like her character being depressed, almost suicidal, and when you're seeing how much these characters are struggling with that depression, with that loneliness. You've never really seen a superhero film tackle dark ideas and themes like this or in this way. A lot of that stuff got to me and got me emotional. So big kudos and props for that. Number 2, boy, did this was number 1 for a while. But now it's number 2. It's Sinners. Sinners, Ryan Coogler, I thought killed it with this period piece. And I know sometimes I see a period piece, black cast movie, and I think, oh no, we're going to cover slavery. We're going to cover the struggle. We're going to cover how horrible it was to be a black person a long time ago. And I'm not saying that those stories don't deserve to be told. They absolutely do. I just feel like I've seen so many of those fucking movies that I don't want to feel depressed. I don't want to get angry. I don't want to go through those type of movies, at least as much as I have. But this was different. This took that time period and it told a vampire story with it. And I thought that was awesome. I know that maybe the vampire parts of the movie don't seem as fresh as it might seem by the way people were gushing over this, but I just thought, like, you didn't need to reinvent the wheel with the vampires. You didn't need for it to be any different. It was just nice to see black characters dealing with this type of threat and doing it in the unique way that they did, especially with the music. You have Michael B. Jordan killing it with 2 different roles, playing brothers. Haley Steinfeld, I thought, came in and just fucking crushed every scene that she was in. This movie left an impact. This movie stayed with a lot of people. There's a reason why a lot of people talked about it the way that they did. Well deserved. But for my number 1 favorite movie of 2025, and yeah, people are gonna say, what the fuck? Weapons! This is one of the most divisive movies I think I've talked to with people this year, just in the sense of I loved it. Clearly, it's my number 1 favorite movie of the year. And I almost can't even explain why, because when I do try to talk to people about it, especially enough people that I've talked to who didn't like this movie, who maybe they saw the trailer and they saw that it's this mysterious, all of these kids go missing, what happened to them, and that's kind of the hook. Maybe that's what they just went there to see, like what's the reveal? What's the mystery? What happened to the kids? And then they go and see the movie. And not only is it that, but it's also you're following so many different cast of characters and their points of view, and all of that's interesting as well. I think the writing for those characters is super engaging. It kept my attention and my interest all the way through. It made me care about each character, so that by the time you got to the big climax, I was invested in everybody's story. And then you get to the reveal, and then you get to the crazy batshitness that this movie turns into. And I think for some people, it's too over the top. For some people, it's not their jam. For some people, they just say, what the fuck is this shit? And I get it. I do. It's not something I'm prepared to argue or explain why I vibed with it, why I got it, why I was able to go with the pure insanity of what this movie turns into. I thought the reveal was worth it. I thought the main person driving the mystery. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers because it is one of those deals where I know it's been out for a while, but if you haven't seen it, if you don't know, it's worth the watch to see it for yourself. But the very end and how crazy this movie gets, I loved it. I rewatched that part so many times just because I couldn't believe they went there. I couldn't believe they just said, fuck it, let's just kind of go nuts. So guys, let me know in the comments below, not only what do you think of my list, what are your favorite movies of 2025? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!